chocolate feels like a harmless treat, rich, smooth, comforting. But for seniors, hidden dangers are melting beneath the surface. From lead contamination to sky-high cadmium levels, some beloved brands are poisoning you slowly. Heavy metals build up in your body, damaging kidneys, spiking blood pressure, and interfering with heart medications. Today, we're exposing 9 chocolate brands to avoid at all costs, and 2 that are actually safe. Coming in at number 9, we've got Hershey's. Hershey's, the name that built American chocolate, the brand your parents trusted, the wrapper that promised wholesome sweetness for over a century. Walk down any grocery aisle and you'll see that familiar brown packaging staring back at you. It feels like home. It feels like safety. But what Hershey's doesn't print on that iconic brown label might be silently damaging your health right now. Independent laboratory testing conducted by Consumer Reports revealed something alarming. Hershey's dark chocolate products contained detectable levels of both lead and cadmium. These aren't trace amounts we're talking about. These are levels that, when consumed regularly, accumulate in your bones, your kidneys, and your bloodstream. One comprehensive study found that 23 of 28 dark chocolate bars tested exceeded safe daily limits for at least one heavy metal. That's over 80% of products failing basic safety standards. For seniors, this is especially dangerous. Lead exposure doesn't just affect children. In adults over 50, lead accumulation has been linked to cognitive decline, memory problems, and worsening kidney function. Research published in the Journal of the American Medical Association found that even low levels of blood lead in older adults correlated with faster rates of mental decline. If you're already managing chronic kidney disease or taking blood pressure medications, every bite of contaminated chocolate adds to the toxic load your body is struggling to process. And here's the betrayal. Hershey's markets itself as America's chocolate. Their commercials show families sharing moments over a chocolate bar, grandparents handing treats to grandchildren. They promise simple ingredients and timeless recipes. They've built a $100 billion company on trust, but they never mention the heavy metals lurking inside their products. The texture might feel smooth on your tongue. The taste might bring back childhood memories. That familiar cocoa aroma fills your kitchen when you open the package. The snap of breaking a piece off the bar. The way it melts slowly as you savor it. But underneath that creamy sweetness, invisible poisons are accumulating. Your kidneys are filtering what they can. Your bones are storing what they cannot eliminate. And over months and years, the damage builds quietly. Silently, dangerously. Hershey's has made billions selling you nostalgia, but nostalgia doesn't protect your heart. Nostalgia doesn't filter your blood, and nostalgia certainly doesn't remove lead from your system. The company knows about these contamination issues. The testing has been public for years, yet the products remain unchanged on store shelves. If you've been eating Hershey's dark chocolate thinking it was a healthier choice, you're not alone. Millions of seniors made the same assumption. Dark chocolate is supposed to be good for you, right? Full of antioxidants. Heart healthy, that's what the marketing says. But the laboratory results tell a different story. The brand you trusted has been hiding something dangerous in every square. At number 8, we have Godiva. Godiva. The name sounds luxurious. The gold boxes look elegant on any table. The price tag suggests premium quality. When you walk into one of their boutique stores, the display cases gleam under soft lighting. The chocolate sits arranged like jewelry. Everything about the experience whispers sophistication and care, but what's really inside that fancy packaging might shock you. When Consumer Reports tested dark chocolate brands for heavy metal contamination, Godiva didn't escape scrutiny. Their dark chocolate products showed elevated cadmium levels, a toxic heavy metal that your body cannot easily eliminate. The testing found cadmium levels exceeding California's maximum allowable dose level in several products. California has some of the strictest safety standards in the nation, and Godiva failed to meet them. Cadmium is particularly cruel to seniors. It targets the kidneys first, slowly degrading the delicate filtering mechanisms that keep your blood clean. If you're already dealing with reduced kidney function, which many adults over 60 experience naturally, cadmium exposure accelerates the damage. The half-life of cadmium in the human body is between 10 and 30 years. That means the cadmium you consume today will still be affecting your organs decades from now. Research shows that even low-level cadmium exposure increases the risk of kidney disease progression by up to 40%. For seniors already taking medications that stress the kidneys, this additional burden can push fragile systems past their breaking point. But that's not all cadmium does. It weakens bones. It interferes with calcium absorption. For seniors already battling osteoporosis or taking medications for bone density, cadmium is working against every treatment you're paying for. The betrayal here is profound. Godiva charges premium prices. A box of their truffles can cost $30 or more. They position themselves as the sophisticated choice for discerning chocolate lovers. Their marketing whispers luxury, quality, and indulgence worth every dollar. When you give Godiva as a gift, you're supposed to be giving something special. Something safe, something that shows you care. But luxury shouldn't include heavy metals, quality shouldn't mean hidden toxins, and indulgence shouldn't come with a side of kidney damage. Picture the Godiva box sitting in your pantry right now. The smooth, dark squares wrapped in gold foil. They look beautiful, they taste rich. That deep chocolate scent fills your nose as you lift the lid. The first bite is everything you expected. Silky, intense, worth the price. But inside each piece, cadmium molecules are waiting to enter your bloodstream, settle into your organs, and begin their slow, silent damage. Seniors who gave Godiva as gifts thinking they were sharing something special were unknowingly passing along contamination. Those who treated themselves to a square after dinner, believing dark chocolate was heart-healthy, were adding to their toxic burden with every bite. The price you paid for Godiva wasn't just at the register. Your kidneys are paying a price too, and that bill keeps growing with every piece you consume. Most people never learn which brands are actually safe, but we'll break it down at the very end of this video. Stick around, because the solution is coming, and it might surprise you. Now at number 7, Lint. Lint, the Swiss chocolate maker that promises master craftsmanship. The brand that wraps everything in images of alpine purity and European tradition. Their commercials show chocolate flowing like silk, golden ribbons of melted perfection, snow-capped mountains in the background. Their packaging suggests precision and care, Swiss engineering applied to confectionery. But laboratory testing tells a very different story. Consumer reports found that several Lint dark chocolate products contained concerning levels of lead. Not cadmium this time, lead, the heavy metal that builds up in your system and never fully leaves. Testing showed some Lint products exceeded the maximum allowable dose for lead that experts recommend. The same lead that poisoned Roman aristocrats. The same lead we've spent decades removing from gasoline and paint. Now it's showing up in your chocolate. For seniors, lead is a devastating toxin. It doesn't just sit quietly in your body. It actively interferes with your nervous system. It raises blood pressure. It damages cognitive function. Studies have linked even low-level lead exposure in older adults to increased risk of dementia and accelerated mental decline. The Centers for Disease Control confirms there is no safe level of lead exposure. None. Every bit of lead adds to your body's toxic burden. A study in the journal Circulation found that adults with higher blood lead levels had significantly increased cardiovascular mortality. For seniors already managing heart conditions, this is life or death information. Think about that for a moment. You're eating Lint chocolate because you heard dark chocolate might be good for your heart. You're choosing what seems like a quality brand. And with every piece, you're potentially introducing lead into your bloodstream. Lead that could be raising your blood pressure and clouding your thinking. The texture of Lint chocolate is undeniably smooth. It melts beautifully on your tongue. The cocoa flavor is rich and complex. You can almost taste the Swiss Alps in every bite. The truffle shell cracks gently between your teeth before releasing that liquid center. It's an experience designed to feel premium, but that silky sensation is delivering more than flavor. It's delivering contamination your body will struggle to eliminate for years. Lint has built its entire brand on the promise of Swiss quality. They charge premium prices because consumers believe Swiss means pure, safe, and superior. Their master chocolatiers have generations of expertise. Their factories are spotless. But heavy metals don't care about country of origin. Lead contamination doesn't respect fancy packaging or marketing budgets. If you've been keeping Lint truffles in your refrigerator as a special treat, you might want to reconsider what you're actually treating yourself to. The pleasure lasts seconds. The lead accumulation lasts much, much longer. And here's a question worth considering. Why do you think brands selling products with known contamination issues are still sitting on store shelves like nothing is wrong? Isn't that strange? Number 6 brings us to Dove chocolate. Dove, the chocolate that promises silky smooth moments of bliss. The brand owned by Mars that has convinced millions of Americans to choose pleasure. Their commercials are sensual, chocolate melting in slow motion, faces expressing pure satisfaction. The unwrapping of each piece becomes a ritual. But what Dove doesn't tell you might make those moments a lot less blissful. Testing has revealed that Dove dark chocolate products contain measurable levels of heavy metals, including both lead and cadmium. This isn't speculation. This isn't fear-mongering. These are laboratory results from independent testing organizations concerned about what Americans are actually eating. The numbers don't lie. The contamination is real. For seniors managing multiple health conditions, this contamination is especially troubling. Heavy metals interact with medications in ways that are still being studied. If you're taking blood thinners, blood pressure medications, or drugs for heart conditions, Adding lead and cadmium to your system introduces unpredictable variables. Your doctor carefully calculated your medication dosages based on your specific health profile. They didn't account for you ingesting heavy metals with your evening chocolate. Those calculations assume you're not adding toxic substances to the equation. The pharmaceutical interactions alone should give any senior pause. Lead can interfere with how your body processes certain medications. Cadmium can affect kidney function, which changes how drugs are eliminated from your system. The chocolate you eat for pleasure could be undermining the medications you take to stay alive. Dove's marketing is masterful. They show chocolate melting slowly, sensuously, the glossy brown liquid catching the light, each piece photographed like fine art. They promise pleasure and indulgence. They've positioned their product as an affordable luxury, a small daily reward you deserve, something to look forward to after a long day. A moment just for you. But you don't deserve lead in your chocolate. You don't deserve cadmium building up in your kidneys. You don't deserve a brand that prioritizes profits over your safety while pretending to care about your happiness. The Dove Promises wrapper, the one with inspirational messages printed inside, never mentions heavy metal contamination. The message might say, take time for yourself or you deserve this moment. What it doesn't say is, this product contains detectable levels of lead. That's the real betrayal. They've wrapped toxins in promises of self-care. They've packaged contamination as indulgence. And millions of seniors have believed them. Every wrapper, every message, every marketing campaign has been designed to make you feel good about a product that might be harming you. What's the worst chocolate you've ever bought? Drop it in the comments below. I want to hear your experiences. Ghirardelli, the San Francisco chocolate company with over 170 years of history. The brand that built its reputation on premium quality and American craftsmanship. Their flagship store in Ghirardelli Square draws tourists from around the world. The chocolate squares in their signature packaging seem like a sophisticated choice, a step above the ordinary candy bar. But sophistication doesn't protect you from heavy metals. When independent laboratories tested Ghirardelli's dark chocolate products, they found elevated levels of both lead and cadmium. Some products exceeded the maximum allowable dose levels proposed by consumer safety advocates. That means eating just one serving could push you past what experts consider safe for daily consumption. One serving, one square, one moment of indulgence that exceeds safety limits. For seniors, this is deeply concerning. Your body's ability to process and eliminate toxins decreases with age. What a 30-year-old's kidneys might handle, a 70-year-old's kidneys struggle with. Heavy metals that younger people might partially eliminate can accumulate much faster in older adults. Studies show seniors retain up to 3 times more lead than younger adults from the same exposure. Your body is simply less equipped to deal with these contaminants. The biological reality is stark. As we age, our glomerular filtration rate decreases. That's the measure of how well your kidneys filter blood. By age 70, most people have lost about 30% of their kidney function compared to their 30s. Add heavy metals to a system already working at reduced capacity, and you're accelerating decline that's already underway. Ghirardelli squares are everywhere. They're at checkout counters in grocery stores. They're in gift baskets for holidays and birthdays. They're the chocolate people reach for when they want something nicer than a candy bar but don't want to spend Godiva prices. They fill the impulse buy racks at every store. But that middle ground positioning doesn't mean middle ground safety. The heavy metals don't know whether you paid $3 or $30. They accumulate just the same. The texture of Ghirardelli chocolate is intentionally indulgent. Each square breaks with a satisfying snap. The cocoa flavor is deep and complex. That first bite releases an aroma that promises pleasure. The chocolate coats your mouth perfectly. But that complexity includes something the label doesn't mention: contamination that could be affecting your blood pressure, your kidney function, and your long-term health. One study found that over 40% of dark chocolate products tested contained concerning levels of heavy metals. 40%. That means nearly half the dark chocolate bars on store shelves might be slowly poisoning their consumers. And yet these products remain on shelves. They remain advertised as healthy treats. They remain in your pantry right now, waiting for your next craving. If this helps you stay safer at the store, hit subscribe. It's free, and it means you'll never miss these exposés. Moving to number 4, Trader Joe's Dark Chocolate. Trader Joe's, the grocery store that feels different. The friendly crew members in Hawaiian shirts. The hand-drawn signs with quirky descriptions. The affordable prices that seem too good to be true. The private label products that promise quality without the brand markup. When you shop at Trader Joe's, you feel like you're making smarter choices. You feel like you found a secret the mainstream stores don't want you to know. But when it comes to dark chocolate, Trader Joe's has a serious problem. Multiple Trader Joe's dark chocolate products have tested high for heavy metals. Their dark chocolate bars, their chocolate-covered almonds, their various cocoa products, and chocolate-based treats. Independent testing has found lead and cadmium levels that should concern any health-conscious consumer. Some products showed levels that exceeded proposed safety limits by significant margins. The chocolate you thought was a better choice turned out to be just as contaminated as the mainstream brands. Trader Joe's has built an empire on trust. Their customers believe they're getting better products at better prices. The store cultivates an image of transparency and customer care that sets it apart from conventional supermarkets. When something goes wrong with a product, they pull it quickly. They seem to care more than the big chains. But that trust may be misplaced when it comes to chocolate. For seniors who shop at Trader Joe's specifically because they believe the products are safer or more carefully sourced, this is a painful discovery. You chose Trader Joe's over the regular grocery store. You drove past 3 other options to get to their location. You paid attention. You tried to make better choices. And still, heavy metals found their way into your shopping cart. The store that felt like it was looking out for you let you down. The betrayal stings because Trader Joe's feels like they should know better. They seem like the company that would catch these problems and fix them. The quirky signs promise quality. The sample station suggests confidence in their products. The crew members enthusiastically recommend their favorites, but the testing results suggest otherwise. The company either doesn't know or doesn't care. Neither option is acceptable. If you've been buying Trader Joe's dark chocolate as a healthier snack option, you've been adding lead and cadmium to your diet with every purchase. Your kidneys have been processing those metals. Your bones have been storing what couldn't be eliminated. Your cardiovascular system has been dealing with the consequences. The cashier smiled when they rang up your chocolate. The price was reasonable. The packaging looked wholesome, but none of that changed what was actually inside the product. Don't go yet. The solution comes at the very end of this video, and it could change how you shop for chocolate forever. Stay with me. Number 3 is Endangered Species Chocolate. Endangered Species Chocolate. The brand that promises ethical sourcing. The wrapper featuring beautiful wildlife, a majestic gorilla, a graceful dolphin, a powerful elephant. The company that donates 10% of net profits to conservation efforts. Everything about this brand screams conscientiousness and care. You're not just eating chocolate, saving animals. You're making a difference. But caring about endangered animals doesn't mean they're protecting endangered seniors. When Consumer Reports tested endangered species dark chocolate products, they found some of the highest levels of heavy metals among all brands tested. We're talking about lead and cadmium levels that significantly exceeded proposed safety limits. Some products contained more than double the recommended maximum daily dose of cadmium in a single serving, double the safe amount, in one piece of chocolate. This is perhaps the cruelest betrayal on our list. People who buy endangered species chocolate are trying to do the right thing. They're paying extra because they care about the planet. They're choosing a brand that aligns with their values. They read the wrapper about conservation partnerships and feel good about their purchase. And in return, they're getting some of the most contaminated chocolate on the market. Their good intentions are being poisoned. For seniors, heavy metal accumulation is not something your body can simply handle. Lead settles into your bones, where it can leach out slowly for years or even decades. During periods of bone loss, which happen naturally with aging, that stored lead releases back into your bloodstream. Cadmium damages kidney tissue permanently. The tubular cells that filter your blood don't regenerate. Once they're damaged, they're gone. These aren't temporary inconveniences. These are lasting health consequences that compound with every exposure. Imagine the senior who carefully selects endangered species chocolate because they believe in the mission. They stand in the natural foods aisle, reading the label. They pay premium prices. They feel good about their purchase. They go home and enjoy a square after dinner, thinking they're supporting conservation while treating themselves to something heart-healthy. A reward for a life well lived. A small indulgence that does some good in the world. Meanwhile, lead is entering their bloodstream. Cadmium is reaching their kidneys. With every well-intentioned bite, they're poisoning themselves slowly. The gorilla on the wrapper didn't protect them. The conservation message didn't keep them safe. The ethical sourcing didn't remove the heavy metals. The beautiful packaging was just that, packaging. What mattered was inside, and inside was contamination. Ever notice how the companies with the best marketing often have the most to hide? Why do you think brands that promise to save the planet aren't bothering to save your kidneys? Ever noticed how brands keep recalling products but never really changing? Share your experience below. Have you been burned by a trusted brand? At number 2, Beyond Good Chocolate. Beyond Good, formerly known as Madagascar, the chocolate brand that built its identity on changing the chocolate industry. They source directly from Madagascar. They talk about fair trade and farmer partnerships. They show you photos of the actual people who grow the cacao. They position themselves as the ethical alternative to big chocolate corporations. When you buy Beyond Good, you're supposed to be supporting a better system. But ethics in sourcing doesn't equal safety in consumption. Laboratory testing found that Beyond Good dark chocolate products contained some of the highest cadmium levels among tested brands. Cadmium, the heavy metal that destroys kidney function and weakens bones. Some products exceeded the California maximum allowable dose level for cadmium by substantial margins. The state with the strictest standards in the country failed by a brand that promises to be the good guys. For seniors, this is particularly devastating. Kidney function naturally declines with age. Many adults over 65 have some degree of chronic kidney disease, whether diagnosed or not. The National Kidney Foundation estimates that 1 in 3 American seniors has chronic kidney disease. That's 37 million people. Adding cadmium to the mix accelerates damage that your body is already struggling to manage. You can't afford to make it worse. The mechanism is cruel. Cadmium accumulates in the renal cortex, the outer part of your kidney where filtration happens. Over time, it damages the tubular cells that do the actual work of cleaning your blood. This damage is irreversible. Your kidneys don't heal from cadmium exposure. They just work less effectively for the rest of your life. Beyond Good chocolate costs more than mainstream brands. You pay a premium to vote with your dollars. Consumers pay those premium prices because they believe they're getting a superior product made the right way. They trust that a company focused on doing good would never sell them something harmful. The story is compelling. The mission is admirable. Chocolate should be safe, but cadmium doesn't care about good intentions. It doesn't distinguish between ethically sourced cacao and conventional cacao. It contaminates the beans based on soil conditions and growing practices, factors that have nothing to do with how farmers are paid. The volcanic soil in Madagascar that gives their chocolate its distinctive flavor also happens to be high in cadmium. Good for taste, bad for your kidneys. The rich, dark chocolate flavor of Beyond Good products is undeniable. The texture is smooth. The cocoa percentage is impressive. That distinctive Madagascar terroir comes through in every bite. Fruity notes, complex finish, everything a chocolate connoisseur could want. But that intensity comes with contamination levels that should give any health-conscious senior pause. You wanted to support small farmers. You wanted to vote with your dollars for a better chocolate industry. You believed in the mission, and what you got was some of the highest cadmium levels on the market. The marketing promised transformation. The reality delivered toxins. And your kidneys are left to deal with the consequences. And at number 1, the worst offender, Theo Chocolate. Theo Chocolate, the Seattle-based organic chocolate maker. The first organic and fair trade chocolate factory in North America. The brand that opened its doors to tours, proudly showing customers exactly how their chocolate is made. You can walk through their facility. You can watch the beans being roasted. You can smell the chocolate being crafted. Transparency in manufacturing, it turns out, doesn't mean transparency about contamination. Consumer Reports testing found that Theo Chocolate's dark chocolate products contained the highest levels of both lead and cadmium among all brands tested. Not just elevated levels, the highest. In a category filled with concerning results, Theo managed to top the list. Some products contained nearly 5 times the recommended daily limit for lead. 5 times. In a product marketed as the healthy, responsible choice. This should shake every health-conscious consumer to their core. Theo Chocolate positions itself as the premium organic option. They charge prices that reflect their supposed quality. Bar costs twice what you'd pay for mainstream chocolate. They've built a loyal following among people who believe organic means safer, among people who think paying more means getting better, among people who trust that certifications mean something. But organic certification has nothing to do with heavy metal contamination. The USDA organic seal doesn't test for lead. It doesn't measure cadmium. A product can be 100% organic and still poison you slowly. The organic certification is about pesticides and synthetic chemicals. It says nothing about heavy metals that occur naturally in soil, nothing about contaminants that enter cacao through environmental factors. You've been trusting a label that doesn't protect you. For seniors, the lead levels in Theo chocolate products are especially alarming. Lead raises blood pressure. It interferes with cognitive function. It accumulates in bones and can leach out during periods of bone loss, exactly what happens as we age and develop osteoporosis. That means the lead you eat today might affect your health years from now, releasing into your bloodstream precisely when you can least afford the damage. Your future self will pay the price for today's indulgence. The cadmium is equally troubling. Seniors managing diabetes, hypertension, or heart disease are already straining their kidneys with necessary medications. Metformin, ACE inhibitors, diuretics. These drugs are keeping you alive, but they're also working your kidneys hard. Adding cadmium to the mix creates additional burden on organs that are working overtime. Every square of Theo chocolate adds to that burden. Every piece makes the job harder. Theo's factory tours show gleaming equipment and careful processes. Their marketing emphasizes craft and care. The smell of roasting cacao beans fills their facility. It's intoxicating. Visitors leave feeling like they've seen something special, something pure. But somewhere between the cacao bean and the final product, heavy metals are entering their chocolate at alarming rates. The tour doesn't show you that part. The irony is painful. The brand that built its reputation on doing everything right is actually doing the most harm. The organic label that promised purity delivered contamination. The premium price that suggested quality reflected nothing but clever marketing. If you've been buying Theo chocolate because you believed it was the safest choice, you've been operating under a dangerous illusion. And your body has been paying the price with every organic, fair trade, lovingly crafted bite. The first actually safe option, Ghirardelli milk chocolate. Now, here's where things turn around. After all these dangerous dark chocolate brands, you might think all chocolate is off the table. You might be ready to swear off chocolate forever. But that's not the case. There are options. There is hope. Ghirardelli milk chocolate. Specifically, their milk chocolate products, not the dark chocolate we discussed earlier. These tested with minimal heavy metal contamination. The lead and cadmium levels were well below concerning thresholds. The same company that failed with dark chocolate actually passed with flying colors on their milk chocolate line. Why the difference? Dark chocolate contains higher percentages of cacao, and cacao is where heavy metals concentrate. Milk chocolate dilutes the cacao content with milk solids and sugar, reducing the concentration of any contaminants present. The math is simple. Less cacao means less opportunity for heavy metal accumulation. A typical milk chocolate bar contains about 30% cacao. Dark chocolate can contain 70% or more. That's more than double the potential contamination. For seniors who enjoy chocolate and want to minimize risk, Ghirardelli's milk chocolate squares offer a genuine alternative. The same satisfying texture, the same reliable availability. You can find them at almost any grocery store, but without the heavy metal contamination that plagues their dark chocolate line. The taste is creamy and sweet. The experience is familiar, and your kidneys aren't paying the price. This doesn't mean you should eat unlimited quantities. Sugar and saturated fat remain concerns for anyone managing diabetes, weight, or heart health. Moderation is still important. But from a heavy metal perspective, Ghirardelli milk chocolate provides the treat you're craving without the toxic burden you didn't ask for. It's a reasonable compromise between pleasure and safety. The second safe recommendation, Taza chocolate. Taza chocolate offers something different and something safer. This Boston-based company specializes in stone-ground chocolate with a unique, gritty texture. It's not like anything else on the market. The texture is rustic. The flavor is bold. But more importantly, their products have tested with some of the lowest heavy metal levels among chocolate brands. Taza's manufacturing process and sourcing practices have resulted in chocolate that delivers flavor without dangerous contamination. Their dark chocolate options, unlike most competitors, showed lead and cadmium levels well within safe ranges. Independent testing confirmed these products meet even the strictest proposed safety standards. You can eat dark chocolate and feel confident about the choice. For seniors who specifically want dark chocolate for its antioxidant benefits, Taza provides a path forward. You don't have to give up dark chocolate entirely. You don't have to sacrifice the health benefits. You just have to choose brands that take contamination seriously, brands that test their products, brands that source responsibly, brands where safety isn't an afterthought. Taza's texture takes some getting used to. It's not as smooth as mainstream chocolate. That distinctive graininess comes from their stone grinding process, traditional Mexican-style production that preserves the chocolate's character. Some people love it immediately, others need a few tries. But that texture comes with something more important than silky mouthfeel. It comes with safety. Your kidneys don't care about texture. Your blood pressure doesn't respond to smoothness. What matters is what's actually in the chocolate. And Taza has demonstrated that dark chocolate can be made without dangerous heavy metal levels. The flavor is bold. The ingredients are clean. And your body doesn't have to pay the price for your chocolate craving. That's worth a different texture. Don't risk your health on chocolate brands that are hiding heavy metals in every bite. The contamination is real. The health consequences are serious. Lead and cadmium are accumulating in your body every time you reach for the wrong bar. But now you know which brands to avoid and which ones are actually safe. You have the information. You can make better choices. Subscribe now. And if you're watching on TV, tap your remote so you never get blindsided again.